Hello, welcome back to our channel. Um, I think we have decided to settle on the name Servecast for this channel. Instead of just calling it a podcast, we'll call it the Servecast because everything that we're talking about is about service, whether it's service in different industries, whether it's restaurants, service in retail, service in healthcare, service in public service. Get it? Public service, service in your house of worship, service in your house. Whatever it is, that's what we're talking about. We're focusing on service. Stay tuned to this channel. Stay tuned to us because there's also going to be other channels that we're going to offer for other entertainment purposes and fun and information and all of that. We're building something special here, and it's going to become even more special mostly because you're going to be part of it, and we appreciate it. And in that appreciation, um, please subscribe, hit the like button, throw in comments, all sorts of comments. Just keep them good, keep them classy, keep them positive. We definitely focus in on positivity and not negativity. Even in my criticism of whatever I talk about, it's going to be for the positive and not for the negative. So, to go off from that, let's start with this Servecast. Our focus is going to be on that extra and special touch. So when I DoorDash, let's start there. One of the touches that I try to make sure I'm extra and special on is basically something they already ask you to do. But in my observation, I don't see most DoorDashers doing it. I don't see most Uber food or whatever delivery drivers doing, or maybe Instacart. Not Instacart, but I forget the name of the other one. Whatever. Anyway, the food delivery services, I don't see them doing as often as I think it should be done. You can comment if you do any of those. If you do it, if you don't do it, why you do it if you do it, why you don't do it if you do it. And that's using the hot bags. One, you gotta have the hot bags that DoorDash provides. They're a little on the cheaper side. I had one, I used it, but it tore a lot. I didn't like it. The pizza ones, they last, they're good. So you have pizza, keep hot bags, or whatever they like to call it. Then, what I decided to do to kind of up it and make it look better is I got what you call the hot keep bag from one of the grocery stores, and it's about that long, that tall. I don't have it to show it to you now. Maybe later on I'll post it or something like that. Um, but it's very good in keeping everything insulated, whether it's hot or cold. It does it all, and it's absolutely fantastic. Um, and I get a lot of good comments from customers. I get a lot of comments from the restaurants I go to because they're like, "Oh, I like that. That's great." All of that kind of stuff. But I definitely noticed when I dropped the food off, because one time I didn't have that bag, and then when the one that DoorDash provided tore up and it wasn't working, and even when it was working, it wasn't keeping it very hot. But when I got this one, and I would take it somewhere and drop the food off, you could still feel the food hot. You can feel the steam. You can feel all of that good stuff. It was great. And comments went up. Favorability in the comments went up. And all of that good stuff. So that's one of the things. The second thing that I try to do just to go the extra touch is to make my uh, uh, whether you want to call it hustle, job, or whatever, make it look more professional by making sure I dress a certain way, not just throw on the clothes that I might have had when I woke up in the morning, but wear a outfit. And I'm not talking about a suit and tie, even though I seen somebody actually deliver that had on a tie, a shirt, and some nice slacks, which is fine. That's great. Um, I'm not going that far, but I like to make sure I'm dressing semi-casual, professional looking. You know, of course, I'm going to have on my comfortable sneakers, but in some jeans. But I'm going to try to always have on a polo shirt. That's just me. That's my distinguishable difference between me and some of the other Door Dashers and delivery drivers. I have a good friend, a very good friend. He does Instacart, and what he did, he went out and he got um, he bought a few of the temporary, no, not temporary, but the recyclable, that's the word I'm looking for, recyclable bags. And what he does is when he's gathering their items, their grocery or whatever they're asking him to pick up in the app, he puts them in that bag, leaves them in that bag, and then when he delivers them, he drops them off and he gives the customer the bag. Now he's very selective on which orders he decides to pick up. It's always going to be profitable for him, but he puts in that special touch, and he has noticed his tips getting higher because that's what he's been doing. So that's an awesome thing. It's that extra touch, and I'm proud of him for doing it, because you know I always talk to him, and I've known him for years, and I've always talked to him about always having that extra touch, always going that extra mile for the customer and treating them the way you would want them to treat you, or you would want someone to treat your mom, your dad, your grandma, your granddad, your nana, whoever it is that you love in your life. You want someone to treat them that way. Another example of that extra touch, and throw in the comments of what do you think about some of the extra touches, um, and maybe some places that that they just have that extra touch on a consistent basis. I'm gonna always seem to circle back around to Chick-fil-A. They have that extra touch when you're sitting down in the Chick-fil-A eating, where they always, at least most of the ones I've been to, always has that one person who works on the hospitality. They come around and ask you, do you want a refill? Can I top your drink off? Can I move your tray? Can I take some of that trash out your way? And always very respectful, and a very excellent attitude when they're talking to you. It's not like they're saying, can I get that out your way? It's no attitude or no negative attitude. It's always a positive attitude almost every time I've been in there. If you've had that experience, throw your hand up or hit a thumbs up. Yeah, I have. And if you haven't at a Chick-fil-A, please tell me. That would be very interesting, because usually what Chick-fil-A is very consistent across the board, and I love it. Um, Another place, I don't know, I know many of you, hopefully there'll be many of you that will watch this, that you may not have it in your area because they're not as big as a lot of restaurants, but there's a restaurant called Mission Barbecue, and they also have almost what I guess you would call a hospitality expert, because they'll come around, see if you need your drink topped off, ask you how what the food was. If it wasn't good, they do what they can to make it better for you. Sometimes they'll bring you a sample of something, or they'll ask you if you want a sample of something that particular hospitality person really loved. And it's just that extra touch, that special touch. I love it. Then you have some of the higher end restaurants. Now, I'm not talking about the very expensive ones, but I'm talking about just a bit higher end restaurants, like Bonefish Grill. Me and my wife like to go there. I almost call that our anniversary restaurant. Well, the great thing about Bonefish Grill is they always have a server that goes around. Well, they have, of course, your server that usually is always excellent, but the manager of the restaurant constantly comes around checking on you. You'll at least see him once or maybe twice during your visit, um, during your dinner or whatever it is that you're doing, your eating um, event. you'll see them coming around and asking you how everything was. And I think I've seen it happen often at Olive Garden, and I'm sure there are some other restaurants. And if you can throw that into the comments about which restaurants that you've been into, that they go that extra touch, they check on you, they make sure you're good to go, make sure that your experience is great. And I know when I was working at the jewelry store back in the day, one of the things that we did for the extra touch, and I'm sure there are some people, and then maybe even that jewelry chain that I work for still does it, is send thank you notes to customers. Even if they hadn't bought anything for a while, we kept our list of our customers and we would send thank you notes. We would ask them to come in and get the ring clean for free, get the watch clean for free, whatever. Especially if they had a higher end, we would actually possibly even schedule them to have their Rolex just ran through, maintained, or something like that. So there are so many different ways that you can go that extra mile, that extra touch. I'd love to see more fast food restaurants do it, but it's a labor issue, it's a training issue. But I'm sure there's something they can do to make it better. If Chick-fil-A can do it, the way I look at it, all of them can do it, and maybe it's just in their training that they need to readjust the way they train, or put more intensity into the training when they hire the people that they hire. I'm not necessarily saying they need to hire different people, because everyone needs to have their income and everyone needs to be able to work. So I'm not saying that a lot of the restaurants that I've been to, folks need to be fired. I just think they need to be retrained and inspired to have the desire to go that extra mile and serve with excellence. What do you think about it? What do you think restaurants can do to become better at it? And what industries that you serve in that you go that extra mile? Um, I'm sure people in healthcare, there are things they do to go an extra mile and serve an extra touch, just to make it stand out, make people feel better, make people feel more comfortable in visiting you and taking time to be with you. Um, you know, that's the way I look at it. Hopefully, I'm serving you well. Hopefully, I'm going that extra touch for you. Hopefully, I can even get better as time goes on. And the more you come back to visit, the happier I'll be and the harder I'll work to serve you. That's all we have for this episode. Rise above. Let's have a great evening, day, night, great week, great year. Whenever you're watching this, if you're watching this in 2030, have a great new decade. Anyway, I'm out. Thank you. Bye bye.